Hey there, welcome back to Reddit Dating, the best channel for Reddit cheating stories. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification for more stories like these. Now, let's get into the video.
I came in to find my 3-year girlfriend cheating on me with a teammate and a friend from my soccer team. I found out about their affair, quit the team, broke up with my girlfriend, and am ready to leave, but practically everyone is pleading with me to forgive them. To summarize, I am 21, walked in on my F20, making out and jerking off my teammates and a buddy at a party 3 weeks ago. I was supposed to be at work, but I was fortunate enough to be able to leave early. I walked away without saying anything, and she followed me to beg for forgiveness and another opportunity, stating she would do anything to make things right. And that was a one-time blunder. She was drunk, and she wouldn't do it now that she's sober, for which she apologizes profusely. I am numb, heartbroken, and my mind is racing. Because we live together, I leave her and in the house, ask for some space, and return home later that afternoon. She proceeds to get something from the kitchen when a message appears on her phone from a buddy, mocking me and asks how I bought her BS. I read through the messages and discover that they have been having an affair for a month. When I approach her, she admits to cheating. She then sobbed, saying she's sorry it didn't mean anything, that she was lonely since I work a lot and she wanted to break it off, that she just loves me, blah blah. I adore her mother and younger sister, and my parents adore her, but I broke up with her and gave her 2 months to leave. I resigned the team, and I have begun the process of leaving. The problem is that she is an exchange student, her mother is a widow, and I have been financially supporting her as well as paying for her college education. My parents want me to forgive her, and her mother wants me to forgive her, since she made a mistake, was immature, and suffers from chronic depression. She is one of those amazing, extra caring, hypersensitive women who everyone admires. My team does not want to suspend or expel the other guy and rather that we conduct professionally for the team and refrain from bringing personal issues to the team. They implore me to forgive him and stay with the squad because I am their greatest goalkeeper. The Goo is a recovered addict who is having difficulty finding work and basically plays for our club to make a livelihood. He is also one of our most talented players, as well as the coach's nephew. I play to supplement my income. I'm not sure what to do. Should I just put up with it for everyone else? Story number 2. I'm 25 years old, and I've been with my fiancé for 5 years. I cheated, and I'm not sure how to handle his reaction. I recognize that what I did was wrong, and I make no attempt to deny or justify it. I feel terrible about it, and I will do all in my power to make it right. So, while I understand that calling me names is permissible, I'm actually searching for suggestions on what to do next. I went to see my sister at her school quite early in our relationship, 6 weeks to be exact. The second night there, we went to a big party, and I was dancing and drinking, and one guy in particular kept hitting on me, and as the night progressed, I began flirting back. I offer no excuses, I was drinking but not inebriated, and he did not ape or exploit me. I just made a terrible decision and ended up accompanying him back to his room. I knew it was wrong the instant it began, and I ended up crying as I laid there. I got up and left as soon as he finished. I still don't know his last name. My sister was so inebriated that she went home with a friend and had no idea I hadn't spent the night at her house because I arrived before she did. I returned home, guilt-ridden, and even though I knew it would cost me, my new lover, at the moment, I was going to tell him and beg him to forgive me. When I see him the next day, he is already depressed. He did not receive the job offer he expected, and he is quite down. I determined not to contribute to his depression, so I spent the entire day trying to cheer him up and be a comfort to him. Then the next time I meet him, he is overjoyed because he says I was able to make him forget about how bad his life was at the time, something I didn't tell him about. Yes, I was wrong both times, but I was young, immature, and terrified. After those 2 occasions, we were getting along so well that I just told myself that nobody except myself and the other guy knew anything had happened, so why destroy a good thing when I knew I'd never do it again and I'd never see or hear from this other person. Let's fast forward to 2 months ago. We've been together for years, and in fact, we've been together longer than any of our friends have been with their significant others. We adore each other and share a home. He proposes marriage to me. I was ecstatic and, of course, said yes. We told our relatives and friends, and everyone was delighted for us. But 2 days after he asks, I'm overcome with guilt. I called in sick to work because I was unable to function, and spent the entire morning crying on the couch. I was a liar and a cheat, and I had duped my boyfriend into proposing when, in fact, if he had known about it from the start, he would have probably ended the relationship. I knew I couldn't go on living like that for the rest of my life and resolved that no matter how he was feeling, I had to tell him. The second significant aspect of this is that I am his first and only sexual partner. He knew I had been with another person before we met, but it didn't upset him, or so I believed. When he gets home, he notices that I'm a shambles and asks what's wrong. When I inform him, he is naturally distraught and emotional. I tell him that I will go to any length to prove to him that I have never done anything like that since, and that I will never do anything like that in the future. I offer to let him look through my tablet, phone, Facebook, or anything else, but he says it's not required because he doesn't want us to live like that. He stated that he needed some alone time to ponder, and that he would sleep on the couch. I informed him that I would give him as much time as he needed, but that I would be the one sleeping on the couch, not him. He is silent the next morning, but he shows no ill will toward me. I only inquired whether he was all right since I didn't want to delve into his thoughts. He informed me that he was, of course, hurt and unhappy. He stated that the most difficult aspect for him was the time frame, because he doesn't know whether being unhappy is justifiable or ridiculous at this point in time. I told him he had every right to be upset, and we both went to work. After a week, he seems to be getting better by the day, to the point where we both went out to celebrate our engagement with one of his buddies. Everything was well until Wednesday, when he informed me that he would be returning from work quite late. This doesn't concern me because it's a fairly common occurrence. Once they start on a job, they can't stop until it's finished, and there have been occasions when it's taken 16 hours. So I spent the evening catching up on some work I had fallen behind on, watching a movie I knew he wouldn't like, and then going to bed. When I awoke the next morning, he was still not there. I texted him to see where he was. He just replied, I'm on my way home. We passed each other on the street on our way to work. When I phone him, he just states that he stayed later than intended and was going home to rest. Okay, this isn't usual, but he did warn me and he wasn't acting strange or suspicious, so I just went about my business. When I get home, he is sitting in the living room waiting for me. To cut a long story short, he told me that he spent the night before with Tracy, a married woman from his workplace. I just passed out on my chair. He then goes on to say that this was a one-time occurrence, that she is in an open marriage, that he has no feelings for her, and that she has no affections for him. However, he stated that he was utterly immobilized with rage and envy over my having slept with this other guy, as well as my past relationship. He admitted that he knew he was wrong, but he felt compelled to be with someone else just once so he wouldn't be so insecure about me being with other guys, despite the fact that he had only been with me. Of course, I began crying, and then I became enraged and began yelling at him. Then he stops me and says, "Why am I yelling at him?" I cheated first, and when he found out, he never yelled at me, which is true. He says he regrets the action, feels like he cheapened himself in the process, but that while he is sad it has upset me, he says that even though it was wrong and he knows it was wrong, he says he's sorry, but felt like it was something he had to do. He now wants us to carry on as if nothing had happened. I'm at a loss on what to do next. I'd be the greatest hypocrite in the world if I left him, but I'm so hurt that I'm not sure where we go from here. Please accept my apologies for the wall of words. Any advice would be greatly appreciated.